Active Directory Administrative Center Practical Step-by-Step. Launching ADAC and First Steps. Let's begin by launching the Active Directory Administrative Center. This is our primary tool for managing Active Directory today. You have 3 ways to open it. First, click the Start menu, scroll down to Administrative Tools, and you'll find Active Directory Administrative Center listed there. Second, you can press Windows key plus R to open the Run dialog box. Type stack.exe and press Enter. DSAC stands for Directory Services Administrative Center. Third, you can open Server Manager, click Tools in the top menu, and select Active Directory Administrative Center from the drop-down. A very important point before we proceed. Always run ADAC as administrator. Even if you have administrative privileges, right-click the shortcut and select Run as Administrator. This ensures you have the proper permissions for all management tasks. When ADAC opens, it automatically connects to the domain that your computer is a member of. If you need to manage another domain, you can right-click on Active Directory Administrative Center in the navigation pane and select Add Navigation Node. Now let's explore what we see on screen. Understanding the ADAC interface. Take a moment to look at the ADAC interface. It's designed to be clean and intuitive. Let me explain each section. On the left side, we have the navigation pane. This shows your entire Active Directory structure. You'll see your domain name, and underneath it, you'll see containers like users, computers, and any organizational units you create. Think of this as your folder structure for Active Directory. In the center is the management pane. When you click on something in the navigation pane, the management pane displays the contents. For example, if you click on users, you'll see all user accounts. If you click on computers, you'll see all computer objects. This is where you view and interact with your objects. On the right side, we have the tasks pane. This is context sensitive, meaning it changes based on what you've selected. If you select a user, you'll see user-related tasks like reset password or disable. If you select a computer, you'll see computer tasks like reset account. This makes administration faster because the most common actions are always available. Look at the top right corner. This is global search. This is one of the most powerful features in ADAC. You can type any name and search across your entire forest. It's much faster than browsing through US to find objects. Finally, look at the bottom of the screen. You'll see the Windows PowerShell History Viewer. This is critical for learning automation. Every action you perform in ADAC generates a PowerShell command here. You can copy these commands and use them in scripts. This bridges the gap between GUI administration and scripting. Now let's start doing some actual administration. Creating organizational units. Organizational units, or US, are container objects that help you organize your Active Directory. Think of them as folders in a filing cabinet. They help you group related objects together for easier management. For example, you might have an OU for your IT department, another for HR, and another for finance. Within each OU, you would place the users, computers, and groups that belong to that department. Let's create an OU. In the navigation pane, click on your domain name. This selects the domain as the location where we want to create our OU. Now look at the tasks pane on the right. Click New and select Organizational Unit from the drop-down menu. A dialog box appears. You need to give your OU a name. Follow your organization's naming conventions. If your company uses abbreviations, use those. For example, if you're creating an OU for the IT department, name it IT. You'll notice a checkbox that says Protect Container from Accidental Deletion. This is checked by default, and I strongly recommend keeping it checked. When this is enabled, you can't delete the OU without first unchecking this box. This prevents costly mistakes where someone accidentally deletes an entire OU and all its contents. Let's create an OU called IT and click OK. You'll now see IT appear in the navigation pane under your domain. You can create nested US as well. For example, under IT, you might create sub-US for servers and workstations. Just right-click on IT, select New, and choose Organizational Unit. Now, an important administrative concept is delegation. Delegation means giving specific users permission to manage objects within an OU without giving them full domain admin rights. For example, you might want your help desk team to reset passwords for users in the IT OU, but you don't want them creating or deleting users. To do this, right-click on your OU, select Delegate Control, and follow the wizard. You'll select which users or groups to delegate to, and what specific permissions they should have. This is how you implement the principle of least privilege, giving people only the permissions they need to do their jobs. Creating user accounts. Now let's create a user account. This is one of the most common tasks in Active Directory administration. First, navigate to the OU where you want to create the user. In our example, we'll use the IT OU. Click on IT in the navigation pane to select it. In the Tasks pane, click New and select User. The New User dialog appears. You need to fill in several important fields. First name, enter the user's first name. For example, John. Last name, enter the user's last name. For example, Smith. Full name, this automatically combines first and last name, but you can modify it if needed. User logon name, this is what the user types when logging in. Follow your organization's naming convention. A common convention is first initial plus last name. For John Smith, that would be J. Smith. This must be unique in the domain. Click Next to continue. Now we need to set a password. Enter a temporary password. This should be complex enough to meet your password policy requirements. You'll see several important options here. User must change password at next logon. This is a good security practice for new users. It forces them to change their password the first time they log in. Account is disabled. This is unchecked by default, which means the account is enabled immediately. If you want to create the account but not enable it yet, check this box. Password never expires. Leave this unchecked unless you have a specific reason. Service accounts might need this, but not regular users. Account is locked out. This will be grayed out until the account actually gets locked. Click Finish to create the user. You'll now see John Smith appear in the management pane. Now let's explore user properties. Right-click on John Smith and select Properties. You'll see several tabs. The General tab shows basic information about the user. The Account tab is where you manage important settings. You can set logon hours, restrict which computers the user can log into, and manage account expiration. The Profile tab allows you to set the user's profile path, logon script, and home folder. The Member of tab shows which groups the user belongs to. You can add or remove group memberships here. Now let's look at common user management tasks. If a user forgets their password, right-click on the user and select Reset Password. Enter the new password, confirm it, and optionally check user must change password at next logon. Click OK. If a user enters their password incorrectly too many times, their account gets locked. To unlock it, right-click the user and select Unlock Account. The account will be unlocked immediately. When an employee leaves the company, you should disable their account. Right-click the user and select Disable. This prevents them from logging in but keeps their data intact. When a new employee joins, you can enable the account again. You can also set an account expiration date. Go to the Account tab in Properties, select Account Expires, and choose a date. This is useful for temporary employees or contractors. To delete a user account, right-click and select Delete. Be careful with this. If the recycle bin is enabled, the user goes to the deleted objects container and can be restored. We'll cover the recycle bin later. Creating and managing groups. Groups are essential for managing permissions efficiently. Instead of assigning permissions to individual users, you assign them to groups, then add users to those groups. Let's create a group. Navigate to your OU, click New, and select Group. Enter a name for the group. Make it descriptive. For example, IT Employees. You'll see two important choices, Group Type and Group Scope. Group Type has two options. Security groups are used for assigning permissions to resources. Distribution groups are used for email distribution lists and cannot be used for security purposes. For Active Directory administration, we always use security groups. Group Scope has three options. Global groups are used to organize users from the same domain. They can contain users and computer accounts from the same domain only. These are typically used to group users by department or function. Domain local groups are used to assign permissions to resources in the same domain. They can contain global groups from any domain. These are typically used to grant access to specific resources. Universal groups are used across multiple domains in a forest. They can contain global groups from any domain. These are used when you need to grant access across domain boundaries. The recommended practice is called AGDLP. This stands for Accounts, Global, Domain Local, Permissions. Here's how it works: you put user accounts into global groups. You put global groups into domain local groups. You assign permissions to domain local groups. This makes management easier because you only need to manage group memberships, not individual permissions. Let's create a domain local group called IT Servers Admin and a global group called IT Employees. Now let's add members to the group. Right-click on IT Employees and select Add Members. In the dialog, type the username and click Check Names to verify it exists. Then click OK. You can add multiple users at once by separating names with semicolons. You can also add groups as members. This is called nesting. For example, you might create ITAL Employees as a global group, then add IT Employees and IT Contractors to it. Then you can add ITAL Employees to domain local groups for resource access. This makes management much more efficient. To remove a member, select the group, open Properties, go to the Members tab, select the member, and click Remove. Managing computer objects. Computer objects represent workstations and servers in Active Directory. When a computer joins a domain, a computer object is automatically created. You can also create computer objects manually. Navigate to your OU, click New, and select Computer. Enter the computer name. You'll see options to assign the computer to specific groups and designate a user or group that can join this computer to the domain. To join a computer to the domain, you go to the computer's system properties, click Change, select Domain, enter the domain name, and provide domain administrative credentials. If a computer account becomes corrupted or has authentication issues, you can reset the computer account. Right-click the computer and select Reset Account. This will reset the computer's secure channel with the domain controller. To disable a computer, right-click and select Disable. This prevents the computer from authenticating to the domain. This is useful when a computer is being retired or repaired. To delete a computer, right-click and select Delete. Like users, if Recycle Bin is enabled, it can be restored. Fine-grained password policies. Before fine-grained password policies, you could only have one password policy per domain. This meant everyone had the same password requirements. Fine-grained password policies, or FGPP, allow you to apply different password policies to different groups of users. This is important because administrators need stronger passwords than regular users, and temporary employees might need different policies. FGPP uses password settings objects, or PSOs. A PSO contains all the password policy settings, minimum length, complexity requirements, history, and lockout settings. To create a PSO, go to your domain in the navigation pane and find Password Settings container. Click on it. In the Tasks pane, click New and select Password Settings. Give it a descriptive name, like Admin Policy. Now set your policy parameters. For administrators, you might want a minimum length of 14 characters, complexity enabled, and a history of 10 passwords remembered. Then you need to link it to users or groups. Click Add, search for the group you want to apply this policy to. Password precedence is important. If a user is a member of multiple groups that have PSOs, the PSO with the lowest precedence number applies. Higher numbers mean lower priority. To view effective password policies for a user, select the user, view properties, and check the section that shows the effective policy. Active Directory Recycle Bin. The Active Directory Recycle Bin is a safety net. When you delete an object, it goes to the recycle bin instead of being permanently removed. You can restore it if needed. To use the recycle bin, your domain functional level must be Windows Server 2008 R2 or higher. You also need to enable it, and this is a permanent action, you cannot disable it once enabled. To enable it, right-click on your domain in the navigation pane and select Enable Recycle Bin. You'll see a warning that this action is irreversible. Confirm and proceed. After enabling, you'll see deleted objects appear in the navigation pane under your domain. To restore an object, click on Deleted Objects. Find the object you want to restore. Right-click and select Restore to restore it to its original location, or select Restore to choose a different location. Objects remain in the recycle bin for the tombstone lifetime, which is typically 180 days. After that, they are permanently removed. When you restore an OU, all objects inside it that were deleted along with it are also restored. This makes recovery of complex structures much easier. One limitation to remember, not everything is fully restored. Some attributes might not be completely restored, especially if changes were made after deletion. Global Search and Saved Queries. Global Search is a powerful feature that saves you time. Instead of browsing through US to find objects, you can just search for them. Look at the search box at the top right. Type a name and press Enter. ADAC searches users, computers, groups, and other objects across all domains. Let's search for John Smith. Type JSmith and press Enter. You'll see all matching objects displayed. For more specific searches, click the Search button to open Advanced Search. Here you can specify object type, OU location, and search for specific attributes. For example, to find all disabled user accounts, select Object Class as User, and add a filter for the disabled attribute set to True. If you frequently run the same search, you can save it. Click Save Query and give it a name. It will appear under Saved Queries in the navigation pane. Saved queries are reusable and can be shared with other administrators. Using PowerShell history. This is perhaps the most valuable feature for learning and automation. The PowerShell history viewer at the bottom of the screen records every action you perform as a PowerShell command. Every time you create a user, reset a password, or perform any action, the corresponding PowerShell command appears here. Let's create a new user. Watch the history viewer. You'll see the new adducer command appear with all the parameters. You can select this command, copy it, and paste it into a PowerShell window. It will perform the same action. This is how you learn PowerShell. Start by using the GUI, see the commands, and gradually learn to write your own scripts. You can modify these commands. For example, if you need to create 100 users from a CSV file, you can take the new adducer command and add it to a script that reads from the CSV. This integration makes ADAC a powerful learning tool for administrators who want to transition from GUI only to automation. Connecting to other domains and ADLDS. By default, ADAC connects to the domain your computer is a member of. But you can manage other domains too. Right-click on Active Directory Administrative Center at the top of the navigation pane and select Add Navigation Node. Enter the domain name or browse to find it. You'll now see the new domain in your navigation pane. You can also connect to ADLDS instances. ADLDS, or Active Directory Lightweight Directory Services, is used by applications that need directory services without the full domain controller functionality. To connect to ADLDS, use the same Add Navigation Node option, but select Active Directory Lightweight Directory Services. Enter the instance name or browse for it. Once connected, you can manage ADLDS objects just like ADDS objects, create users, groups, and US. Common administrative scenarios. Let's walk through common scenarios you'll face. New employee, navigate to the correct OU. Create the user account with a temporary password. Check user must change password at next logon. Add the user to appropriate groups. The user can now log in. Departing employee, find the user using global search. Right-click and select Disable. Move the user to a disabled user's OU if you have one. This prevents login but preserves the account in case it needs to be restored. Password reset, find the user. Right-click and select Reset Password. Enter new password. Optionally check user must change password at next logon. Locked account, find the user. Right-click and select Unlock Account. Move users between departments, select the user. Right-click and select Move. Choose the new OU. Restore deleted account, go to Deleted Objects. Find the user. Right-click and select Restore. Troubleshooting. Let's cover common issues. If ADAC won't open, right-click and select Run as Administrator. You need administrative privileges. If you see ADWS not running, open Services, find Active Directory Web Services, and start it. This service is required for ADAC to function. Permission errors mean your account lacks permissions for that specific task. Check your group memberships and delegated permissions. Connection failures usually mean network issues. Verify DNS resolution and that you can ping the domain controller. If you see replication issues, run repadmin/replace summary to check replication status. Best practices. Always apply least privilege. Give users only the permissions they need. Use consistent naming conventions. For example, JSmith for John Smith, or HR employees for groups. Design your OU structure before implementing. Consider delegation needs, group policy requirements, and administrative responsibilities. Document everything. Maintain documentation of your OU structure, group memberships, and delegation settings. Enable auditing to track changes. Know who created what and when. Use separate administrative accounts. Don't use your everyday account for admin tasks. Never store credentials in scripts. Use managed service accounts instead. CASNAV exam focus. For exam preparation, remember these key points. ADAC was introduced in Windows Server 2008 R2. The executable is tsac.exe. Key differences from ADUC: PowerShell integration, recycle bin management, fine-grained password policies, global search. Recycle bin requires domain functional level 2008 R2 or higher. PSOs allow different password policies for different users. The PowerShell history viewer displays commands for every GUI action. Conclusion. This concludes our practical guide. Practice each procedure in your lab environment. Use the PowerShell history viewer to learn automation. ADAC combines GUI simplicity with PowerShell power for efficient Active Directory management.